Divesting is still popular, online at least. The idea continues to live on and thrive, oftentimes taking on new forms, catchphrases, reinventing itself in popular social media trends. But there is one thing that keeps divesting alive and well, and that is hope. The hope that one day a struggling Black woman will be able to level up out of her downtrodden and difficult Black life and find herself in a better socioeconomic position next to a handsome, successful, and rich white man. The fantasy assumes that this rich white man will be able to provide her a Cinderella lifestyle, a big home in a gated community, house cleaner, maids, nanny, a daily routine complete with Pilates and green smoothies, and of course, vacations every month. What these ladies desire is a more comfortable life, or at least a baby with light skin and quote unquote good hair, but either way, they just think getting with someone who isn't Black is the way out of their struggles, whether it be financial, social, romantic, or all of the above. And by divesting, the belief is that these Black ladies will be able to escape the worst aspects of, quote, Blackistan, unquote, such as the dusty, down low, no good, lazy, and degenerate Black man and his pick-me female counterpart. The idea is just too fantastical and magical to give up entirely. But I want to introduce you to another side of this level of fantasy. While some ladies seek white men as their ticket into hypergamous living, there are those Black women out there who are born into privilege. They may have grown up in the burbs, attended predominantly white areas, or lived in gated communities, attended predominantly white schools, and grew up in the lifestyle that many of these ladies aspire for. They were around handsome, well-to-do white men who came from successful families. They attended schools with them, went to class with them, and even lived next door to them. But what was their experience like? I saw this video of a beautiful Black woman who also is a content creator, and she opened up about her experience as a Black woman who grew up in an affluent, predominantly white area, and also attended a white prep school. I want to hear what she has to say about her experience, and then we're going to break it down.
Someone needs to do an academic study on the outcomes and the experiences of young Black girls who go to predominantly white prep schools. I firmly believe if you are sending your young Black daughter to a really nice elite prep school, be prepared not only to pay back tuition now, but to also pay for very expensive therapy in a decade from now. I went to one of those like $50,000, $60,000 a year prep schools from 6th grade up until 12th grade. I played lacrosse, field hockey, crew on the Charles River. It was also a New England prep school. I think there's also a regional nuance here. It was psychological warfare. Spending your most formative years not being the standard of beauty, being ostracized, oftentimes being the only one in your class, having to learn about slavery in a very unsafe environment. I don't think parents understand the psychological cost and warfare on young Black girls to go to these elite prep schools. Forget about having a boyfriend. Forget about going to prom. Forget about learning about race and consciousness in a healthy and safe way. Forget about if you're smart, if you're talented, if you're pretty, even if your parents have money. It is torture. You cannot fully know yourself and also be self-aware and develop a healthy sense of self in a space like that. I refuse. You can argue with me if you want. You can't do it. And I'm saying this for young Black girls specifically because I think young Black boys, though the trauma might also still exist, I think they have very different experiences than young Black girls who go to prep school.
I am not a person who is against aspiring for a better lifestyle, aspiring to live in nice communities and safe communities. I am not opposed to that per se. But we have to be honest about what this actually means. What does it actually mean if a Black woman is able to quote unquote level up, right? What if she's able to use this sprinkle mentality that we see from Shira 7? Or take some of the advice that we see from content creator Chrissy, who was all about Black woman, leveling up into the white society. Like, what happens when a woman is actually able to do that or born into that? And there's a whole other side of things that is oftentimes not being talked about. In the United States of America, some of the best, safest communities today are predominantly white. And we know there's reasons for this. If we understand the history of redlining, if we understand the socioeconomic gap, just different challenges that have pretty much kept Black and brown communities in a cycle of poverty. Like, we know it's not necessarily by chance. But nevertheless, what that does mean is oftentimes if a Black person and or Black families are able to put themselves in better positions, whether it be for their family or just a person who gets enough money personally, they are oftentimes going to now start to find themselves in situations where they themselves are othered. It has to be the responsibility of the parents to instill strong cultural values, to instill strong spiritual values, and to also continuously put them in situations where they are being reinforced who they are. They are seeing representations of themselves regularly that are healthy. They have kids that look like them, that, have their own culture. Like, that is so important. Because if that doesn't happen, then they are going to grow up having the identity crisis like she did, constantly trying to fit into a cultural mold that just isn't her. She was never meant to be white. Continue to put those children around their culture, whatever that means. You're getting involved in church, you're getting involved in sports, you are actively doing things that is ensuring that kid is regularly having healthy interactions with their own culture, so they don't have an identity crisis and they don't feel like they have to fit in with somebody else. I also want to say real quick what she mentioned about Black men. I don't think that it's necessarily that Black men are treated easier. I just think Black men know very early on that they are othered, that they don't fit in, that they are a threat. And so Black men, when they are boys, come to the realization that they are not accepted in society. And so they don't really have the illusion of inclusion that Black women have. Like, I think by nature of Black women not being considered as much of a threat, women are not considered as much as a threat. They don't experience some of the things Black men do early on. Black little boys, they're going in the stores and they're getting followed. People are clutching their purses. They're walking past cars and people are locking their doors. Like, these are the experience of Black men when they are boys. When they are boys, they're getting stopped by the police. When they are boys, so they get this message early on that they're a threat. Black women don't get that. And so I think it can kind of take Black women a little longer to recognize that although they may not be perceived as an immediate threat, they are still seen as othered. And so that is where I think that might be why a Black girl and a Black boy, they might have slightly different experiences, or rather they might have different perspectives on how to handle situations when they are the only Black person in an environment. So anyways, that's what I have. That's what I really liked about what it is she had to say. It was really honest. What do y'all think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.